Okay, what I'm going to do is cook this on low heat to soak these shiitake mushrooms to prepare them for this recipe. Let me put a cover on this too. Yeah, here we go. This way. I find if you cook these on low heat, like if you forgot to soak them the night before, then you can soak them really fast. So this is to prepare them for my recipe. Okay, I'm boiling the pasta here. I'm going to try to remember not to overcook it. I'm actually multitasking. These are rice sticks, and then I will drain them in a couple minutes. Okay, I dumped them in the colander, and I'm just going to let it drain. Yeah, that's good. Sometimes I rinse it off with cold water. Let me see how. Yeah, let's do that. That'll stop the cooking process. So I like to keep the noodles kind of firm. So yeah. Yeah. Japanese often do that when they cook their pasta or rice noodles. Okay. This is a recipe that I make a lot of. And this is one thing that I've been doing right. I already got this garbage filled. I'm decided I'm going to quit eating flax oil and flax seed because they don't seem to agree with me. Any food that I eat, or that I don't need that, or that I bought in the past, mainly for their touted health benefits, I will no longer eat because that's a violation of the Gail commandments. So let's cut off some of the fat here. I've noticed, so that means I'm going to have to eliminate quinoa. I'm getting way too much fiber. Jesus even said that. So I'm going to have to eliminate quinoa and, let's see here, and flax. Because think about it. Why did I tell myself that I bought the flax because I like the flavor, but actually, this is a recipe that I've been eating for the past couple years, which is perfectly fine. So I can keep making this. This is called stir-fried rice vermicelli, and I will have the recipe. I've made this a lot. So what I do now is I cube the chicken breast. I cube the chicken breast, and and then I marinate it in, the recipe calls for marinating it in sake, but I have found that I can save money and a trip to the Asian store to buy the sake. Though if you want to go to the Asian store, they've got some pretty cheap cooking sake that you can get, so you can do that. But I find that sherry cooking wine works very well with this recipe. So that's what I've been using lately. So, and you can get that at Walmart, which is my favorite place to shop. Let me just go ahead and, I've made this a lot. For a while I wasn't going to make a cooking video on this, and I thought, but nobody's ever seen me make this. So, and it's quite delicious. I have been keeping my food diary, and I have noticed that when I eat quinoa, or flax oil or flax seed, my diarrhea and gassiness symptoms start returning a bit. And so, yeah, I was eating a lot of foods that were causing problems for me. This excessive seeds and nuts, now think about it. I wasn't making smoothies, which is what a lot of people make with ground flaxseed. So why in the world was I buying ground flaxseed? Mainly, I got to admit it, I thought it would be healthier. Jesus wants me to get out of the mindset of thinking of food as medicine. So, and then I just thought about it. Jesus told Zach to tell me to throw out all my expired food. And I noticed that I didn't throw out the flax oil. And then I looked on the bottle and it's expired. So I thought, out it goes. So besides that, I looked over my food diary, and I noticed that on the days that I ate flax oil or flax seed, the next day I had a little bit of a relapse of my diarrhea problems. So I thought, aha. Another thing that caused a relapse of my diarrhea problems was ginger and garlic together. So I changed my mind about the I was going to make a, I hate to throw stuff away, and I have some wonderful quinoa, but I do remember the last time I ate quinoa, I had major diarrhea and gassiness problems, so I will not be buying any more quinoa. I'm just going to eat like a normal person. No more quinoa. Ha! I hate, I hate to throw away food, but basically, Jesus already told me to throw away all my over-the-counter medications. So I thought the way that I can feel good about this is think of the flax oil and the quinoa as like an over-the-counter medication. Because basically, I bought it basically to use medicine as food, which is a violation of the Gail commandments. So now I thought, and you're going to feel so much better if you do the Gail commandments, which means you got to stop buying food that you consider medicine. Because, the supposed health benefits of flax oil and all that, that's why I bought it, And Jesus just wants me to get out of that mentality. Okay, so now I chopped it all up, and I'm going to pour some sherry cooking wine in here and marinate it in there. I've made this so many times, I've got this recipe memorized. Let me get this chicken grease off my hands. And, but anyways, I got, let's go ahead and, I made a private YouTube video for my Patreon supporters. Here it is. This works great in this recipe, sherry cooking wine. So I've got it so memorized, I don't even have to measure. I know pretty much what I need to do. That's about right. Okay, so let's just go ahead and kind of swish it all around there. Let it marinate in there for a bit. And then now I gotta wash this cutting board. And the next thing I'm going to cut up will be, now the recipe calls for using green pepper, but I usually omit that because green peppers are usually expensive, and I just use cabbage and celery. Okay, they're nice and plump, so that means I'm going to be ready to slice them. So let me go ahead and put them over here. Here's another one. And I usually save the mushroom water because it's great stock to add to the stir fry. Okay, here we go. And here's the other one. Okay, so I'm going to let them kind of cool off. I'm going to save that. And yeah, and then I'll be chopping these over here. Yeah. Okay, this cabbage is kind of old, and I'm hoping it's good because I definitely wanted to make this recipe because I hate to waste food. But if the cabbage is too old, I may have to chuck it. Let me cut into it and see what it looks like. I'm seeing some suspicious, it's looking a little bit moldy. I think it's okay, but I definitely need to cook it now. Yeah, I think it's going to be okay. It's a little old, almost like an expired cabbage here, Let's take a look at this. Yeah. So now that I'm easing into, I'm going to cut that part out. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Let me take a look at this. Yeah, it's almost too old. So yeah, this should be okay. But I definitely wanted to make this before everything started rotting on me. Yeah, that's good. Let's go ahead and cut that out. Cabbage is usually a vegetable that will store well, but any vegetable stored too long is going to go rotten on you. So let's see here. Okay, so now that I'm easing into Jesus' new rules about cooking and everything, I'm definitely going to only shop for 2 weeks at a time. I've decided I'm not going to make the quinoa soup recipe that I was planning because I'm going to eliminate quinoa from my diet. I mean, I'll admit, I basically bought quinoa to be like food as medicine. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. Let's go ahead and cut this out. So basically my rule is, what are you buying this food for? Are you buying this for its health benefits or just as part of a well-balanced diet? And if I tell myself that I'm buying it for its health benefits, I won't buy it. Because I've got to get out of the mentality of buying food as medicine. Jesus doesn't like me. That's a violation of the Gail commandments. Okay. Jesus wants us to have a well-balanced, I've made this recipe so often, I've got it memorized, so I don't have to. This is one recipe that I've made that I think will be fine for me to continue, that I've been eating a lot of the past several years. This one should be fine for me to continue, and I'll just go ahead and put this over here. I don't want that. So that's my new rule. So I'm going to stop quinoa because I didn't eat quinoa in the 1990s. I think Jesus wants me to get back in how I cooked in the 1990s. And back then I ate more like a normal person. I wasn't a health nut fanatic. I've always been calorie conscious, and I've always tried to not eat too much fat and stuff. But I did start eating the full-fat yogurt because Brent Spiner wanted me to do that. What's really ironic is now that I'm doing that, I'm losing weight, even though I'm not sure why that is. I think even though supposedly I'm getting a little bit more calories with the full-fat yogurt according to the container, but okay, yeah. This is going to be great stir-fry here. I've cut up many a cabbage. You might say, well, cabbage is like a gassy food. I think this will be fine. I'm still keeping a food diary, and it has been useful to me, and I have definitely figured out what some of the culprits are in my diet that's given me diarrhea. I know quinoa is bad for the diet. I need no more quinoa. No more quinoa. Quinoa's got a kind of nice flavor, but it's got way, way too much fiber for me. Way, way too much. I think because I eat what you might call almost a heavy vegetable and fruit diet, low meat, that I probably need to stay away from adding extra fiber to my diet because I'm getting plenty of fiber. Plenty. I don't need to add any extra fiber. I don't need to worry about ground flaxseed or quinoa. And I looked up the quinoa recipes, and I'm not really into most of them. So it's obvious I was buying it as a type of medicine. So I thought, throw it out. I even threw out my flax oil. I bought that as a type of medicine. Jesus wants me to get out of that mindset. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I have some expired olive oil. Next time I go grocery shopping, which is going to have to be pretty soon, I'm going to get me some extra virgin olive oil, or maybe regular light olive oil, I don't know. But I kind of like the taste of extra virgin, so I'll get extra virgin olive oil. And okay, let me go ahead and cut up some celery. I've got an old celery that I need to cut. I store it in aluminum foil with paper towel on the inside. Actually, I'll show you. And it helps it to last a long time, but I'm going to quit doing what I used to do, which is buy like two things of celery. See, if you store it like this, it'll last a long time, but I used to shop like once every 5 or 6 weeks, and Jesus wants me to get out of that. But see, look how, I've had this almost 3 weeks, and look how good it's looking. Yeah, a little bit of trouble here. But I'm going to cut off all the yellow. I'm going to wash this, cut off all the yellowy parts, and then I'll be chopping this next. Okay, I had to actually throw out a whole stalk. It was rotten. This is kind of like borderline here. Let me go ahead and cut this off. I'm using a little more celery than the recipe calls for to make up for the fact that I'm not using green peppers like the recipe calls for. So I use a little bit more celery. I'm cutting off the bad parts. I don't need that. Yeah, this is definitely old celery. Like I said, I'm easing into Jesus's following his new rules to only buy 2 weeks at a time. Should spare me from having to deal with all this old food. I actually think I'm going to cut off. Yeah, let's cut that off. It's kind of yellowy. Yeah, these leaves are kind of yellowy. This is old celery, man. It's just like borderline. You know what? Right here. Let's go ahead and, I'm not even sure I have enough celery for this recipe. Go this way. I might, yeah, that's kind of, yeah. Let's see, take that off. Yep. All right. I actually could use a little bit more celery, but I think it'll still be good because I have enough cabbage. So the Asians usually cut these things on the diagonal. Okay. I tried to save the good parts. Okay. You can see the celery is kind of old, man. I'm easing into what Jesus recommended. Like I said, I hate to waste food, but it's not worth it having a bellyache or diarrhea, you know. Asians almost always cut their food on the diagonal, and that's because I think it helps to enhance the flavor of the vegetable and the food. Okay, so. Oh, John Balcour's suggestion to throw out my neti pot, Jesus totally approved of that. He told me, throw out your neti pot. John was right about that one. John did some work as part of the nanotechnology research team, and he noticed that the use of the neti pot removes a protective lining in the nasal passages that helps the body filter out germs. So yeah, this will work. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and get that. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I guess I can use all that. All right. I'm trying to help myself. You know what? I don't like that. Take that off. Nope. This is a kind of an old celery, so I'm a little short on celery, but I think it'll still be good. Sometimes I'll make up for it by adding carrots, but I'm out of carrots, so I'm basically trying to use up what I can in the refrigerator. Okay, so there it is. This is going to go in the stir fry. I need to chop up the mushrooms now, because I'll be throwing those in with this. Not going to be quite as good. I could use a little bit more celery, but I don't want to, I mean, some of this is old celery, so yeah. So let's go ahead and chop up the mushrooms. Yeah, let's get this right here. Nice and soft. I soak them. Usually a good idea might be to soak them ahead of time, like overnight, but I didn't do it. I was busy. There's a stem. We don't, okay, that'll be thrown in there. This This is a Japanese recipe. You can tell I've made this a lot. I've got it down pat, boy. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and get ready for stir fry. Okay. I used to use like some canola oil or something, but that was expired. Let's just go ahead and use sesame oil. I use just enough to, yeah, that's good. So I can fry the chicken. Where is my spatula, huh? There it is. My favorite way to stir fry. This is easy for me to spread the oil around, so I don't have to use a whole bunch of oil. Okay, what kind of oil are you going to use when you, well, I could use extra virgin, but I think I'll use this. Yeah, I can't see making Asian food with extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil. Okay, the first thing you do is you cook the chicken until it's done. I've made this so much I don't even need to read the recipe. I got it all memorized. On high heat. You want to add a little bit more of the cooking sake or the equivalent. I'm using sherry. So go ahead and add this in a little bit more. Oh, actually, the time to add it is when you add the vegetables. So, that's not going to kill me though. All right. So. Yeah, adding the sake or the rice wine to this, or sherry will work too. Gives it a nice flavor. You cook it till the chicken's done. Okay. Till it's browned a little bit, till the chicken browns a little bit. I got it on high heat. I'm going to kind of let it sit so it'll brown. Okie dokie. The only other thing I want to make before I go grocery shopping is macaroni beef tomato skillet. So I may go shopping before then. Okay. My psychiatrist calls me tomorrow for a follow-up visit for the Seroquel. So I need to be sure I'm home tomorrow afternoon. He's going to do it over the phone. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see. So I'll probably go grocery shopping the day after tomorrow. Yeah, and with this COVID-19 craziness, all these doctors, if they can, they like to do the, if they don't have to see you in person, like for psychiatric visits, they like to do it over the phone, Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead, yeah. All right. The next thing you add is the vegetables that I've chopped up already. Usually you want more celery than this, but I didn't have more celery, so. So I just have to, yeah, there you go. This will really shrink down. Now is the time you add a little bit more sherry or rice wine. Sherry, I find sherry cooking wine is a good sake substitute. There you go. Need a little bit of mirin, and I did not have it out. So I'm going to go get it from the refrigerator. Yeah, it needs a little bit of mirin for flavor. So let's go ahead and add some mirin. Oh, about a teaspoon or so. I don't measure for this one because I have made it so much. I pretty much have it memorized. But by the way, here's the recipe right there. Sake, mirin, salt. Add vegetables and stir fry over high heat. Add rice, vermicelli, and ingredients B, which would be the sake, the mirin, and the salt. For the salt, I usually just go like this. This is salt. It's not quite as much as the recipe calls for. You can always add more in later. All right. Let's go ahead and throw in. This is the mushroom water. It gives it a nice flavor. Mushroom water. That may not be enough liquid, but let's go ahead and start swishing this around. And you want to throw this in too. This is the pasta. Yeah, there we go. The rice pasta. They call it rice sticks in Asian cuisine. So you want to get this all to break up. Spread it around. Let's see what the recipe says. Okay, add vegetables and stir fry over high heat. Add rice, vermicelli, and ingredients. Add sake, mirin, salt. And then you put in a little bit of sesame oil and a dash of pepper at the end. So let's just go ahead and let's do this first. Yeah, once the cabbage is pretty much cooked. Of course, I'm cooking it in sesame oil, so I may not need to add the sesame oil. So I guess that depends on how much sesame oil you want. One of my little bits of cabbage fell on the floor here. This is a really good dish if you're weight conscious too. You don't gain a lot of weight on this one, I've noticed. Yeah, I'm actually losing weight following Jesus' upgraded Gail commandments. My weight's leveling out to about 130 with clothes on, so it's like I don't need to worry about weight. Apparently going to bed earlier helps you to lose weight, so yeah. Okie dokie. I'm hoping I already know this is good. I've made this so many times. Just take my word for it. It's good. It tastes good. So I've made it lots and lots of times. This is one thing that I think I've been doing right the past couple years. The only thing is I need to get fresher produce. In other words, don't buy for more than 2 weeks at a time. That way my cabbage and my celery will be fresh. Okay, it's just about done here. Let me add a little bit of water here, a little bit of water. It's kind of drying up on me. There we go. All right. A little bit of water, yeah, that'll help. Yeah. All righty. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. Let's go ahead and add some pepper. A little bit of pepper. Yeah, the pepper's nice on this. Gives it a nice flavor. And I think I am going to add a little bit of sesame oil here. Shake it real good. The sesame oil gives it a nice flavor. Just a little bit. That's good. That's good. That's good. Spread it around. Spread it around. I already turned the heat off. Okay, we are done. And I can tell you from experience that this is delicious. I've made this. This was something I made a lot in the 1990s, and it's really good. So this is stir-fried rice vermicelli. It's really good, and I probably didn't add enough salt, but I'll have a link to the recipe underneath this video, and it's really good. I've made it many, many times, and this is one thing I can probably continue eating, and it's probably not going to give me diarrhea. I want to thank all my Patreon supporters for all the Christmas cards and presents. And we're having lots of fun on movie night, Friday nights. And I wish you all a Happy New Year.